Hey, what's up, guys? It's Sports Blitz here, back with my NFL Week 4 power rankings. Week 3 was very eventful. There were a lot of really good games. There were a few games that were kind of terrible, to be honest. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into my power rankings going into Week 4. Before we get into it, make sure to smash the like button and subscribe. It definitely helps out the channel a lot. We're also only 13 subscribers away from 700, so every sub right now helps a ton. One thing here to really keep in mind is the power rankings, it doesn't necessarily matter as much if you win. It depends on who you win against, and say, okay, like I'm going to say, for example, a team like the Lions. They lost their game, but they played damn tough and came inches away from beating the Baltimore Ravens. So I actually had them go up a couple spots. So the teams you play and how you play against them, whether it's a win or lose, that'll definitely take into consideration, where you go on the power rankings. So let's start with number 32. I actually have the New York Giants. I'm going to say right off the bat, I had the Giants a lot higher this offseason. I had them as a 9-8 team. I thought they were going to have one of the best secondaries in football. I thought the rest of their defense was going to be solid as well, and it just hasn't been that. Their offense hasn't been good either. I mean, they only put up 14 points against the Atlanta Falcons. It's also, and okay, I'm someone that's been a big fan of Joe Judge, okay? I really like Joe Judge this offseason. But if he can't get it figured out with these guys soon, he may be on the hot seat. So we'll see if he lasts into next season. 31, I have the Jaguars. I'm having them going up 1 just because they played the Arizona Cardinals really tough. Last week I had the Cardinals at number 6, so, playing them that tough really helps their case a lot. I considered them going up a little bit, but I'll say I'm still not super confident in Urban Meyer. I don't think it's Urban Meyer's, I don't think it's because of Urban Meyer that they got that kick 6, basically where they went to kick the field goal and Jamal Agnew returned at 109 yards. I don't think that's because of Urban Meyer. So I'm still not confident in them, but because they played it tough, I'm having them go up a spot. Number 30, I have the Jets going down 1. Zach Wilson had another, really bad performance. He's only thrown 2 touchdowns on the year for 7 interceptions. The offensive line isn't looking good. The defense isn't looking good. And it's honestly a little disappointing. I really thought the Jets were going to pull out 6-7 wins this year. As of right now, that's not looking likely. Wilson's not figuring it out, and Robert Saleh doesn't seem to be doing a great job getting these guys playing as a team yet. So yeah, I just don't see much happening for the Jets. 29, I have the Atlanta Falcons going up 2. I'm still not super confident in them, but they did have a good comeback win against the New York Giants. I'll say I expected that game to be a little bit higher scoring. I expected both teams to score about 20 points or so. But their defense ultimately, I feel like, won them that game. But I'm gonna say Matt Ryan is not looking as good as he has in previous years. He's starting to show that he's really slowing down. So we'll have to see what happens for the Falcons. 28, I have the Texans. Now, I'm going to say this. They aren't going down because of their loss. They're going down because for example, I had the Lions go up 2. They were at 28 last week. The Lions played really tough. Texans, I feel like, put up a tough performance against the Carolina Panthers, and I didn't really see too much that really, you know, that would really justify them going below, the Falcons, Jets, Jags, or Giants. So that's why they're only dropping by 1. Especially with Tyrod Taylor out, I thought Davis Mills played pretty solid. 27, I have the Eagles here dropping 4. Last 2 weeks, their offense just has looked terrible. Jalen Hurts, I think he threw 2 interceptions. I know at least one of them was a pick 6 by Trayvon Diggs. Eagles just aren't meshing well right now. And I'll say I'm disappointed because I really like Jalen Hurts. I'm a big Jalen Hurts fan. I think he's, I still think he has really good potential. But he did not look good against the Cowboys. And the week before, he really didn't look good against the 49ers. So, unless they can figure it out, I don't think the Eagles are going to be doing too much, for a while. 26, now I have the Detroit Lions. Like I said, I boosted them up by 2, even though they lost, because they played damn tough against the Ravens. That was, honestly, I feel like one of the top 5 best games of the week. I've said multiple times I love what Dan Campbell's doing. He's getting his guys to play tough. I'd still like to see that that Lions secondary do better. They're still allowing a lot in the passing game, but they're looking tough. And I'll say the Lions offense is looking a lot better than I expected as well. For not having, the super talented receivers, I think Jared Goff is playing solid. DeAndre Swift is playing solid. Jamal Williams has been a good surprise there. I like the direction the Lions are headed with Dan Campbell, and I love to see it for Lions fans too. Lions fans have been through so much, for forever, It's not even just as of recently. They've just been through so much since they started, really. So I really hope they have it right here. I feel like they do. I love Dan Campbell. 25, I have the Chicago Bears. Their offensive line was abysmal. They looked terrible on Sunday, allowing 9 sacks. Didn't give Justin Fields the time to throw it all. Before I proceed at all, Matt Nagy should be fired, okay? I'm a 100% believer in that. Matt Nagy is not a good coach. I don't think he has been a good coach since 2018, but this year especially, he's not making good decisions. Not making good decisions at all. So yeah, I think he should be fired. I don't think the Bears are in a good spot. Their defense really isn't looking too great either, if I'm being completely honest. Then we have the Washington football team going down 2. They got destroyed by the Bills. And I'll say this, I was extremely high on the Washington football team's defense going into the season. I thought they were going to be a top 5, maybe even top 3 defense, and they have just not been anywhere close to that. They've been terrible. I don't quite understand it. I feel like they still have an extremely talented defensive line, some pretty talented secondary as well, to be honest. But they're not putting it together. Taylor Heineke didn't look too great against the Bills either. Now, again, it is the Bills. That's why I'm not having them drop farther than they are. But yeah, not a good showing for the football team. 23, I have the Bengals going up 3. They played really tough against the Steelers. I will say, in that fourth quarter, you could just see the Steelers give up. They looked completely beat. they had dropped three back-to-back-to-back passes at one point, and just they looked rough. They looked like they completely gave up, had no motivation. Ben Roethlisberger looks like he's done. Yeah, tough thing for the Steelers here. I debated actually having the Steelers, lower down. They're actually coming up pretty soon here. If it would have been that the Steelers still looked like they were playing tough and the Bengals still dominated, I'd have the Bengals go up more. But for right now, I feel like up 3 is a pretty fair spot. 22, I have the Miami Dolphins. Sorry, guys, I have a sore throat today. I apologize. 22, I have the Miami Dolphins. I'll say without Tua, they played pretty solid against the Raiders. I'll say the Raiders' defense still has a little bit of work to do, but they're looking pretty good. I know 7 of the Dolphins' points came off a pick 6 from Landon Roberts, so I guess we can't really credit the Dolphins' offense too terribly much. I feel like I just don't feel like they're that, borderline top 10 team that we all thought they were going into the season. I'm really not super high on the Dolphins' defense anymore. I don't think they're really that good of a team at this point. And it's really surprising. I really thought they were going to be, a top 12 team. So we'll have to see where they go. 21, now I have the Steelers. Again, like I said, they played very, very rough at the end there. It looked like they just gave up. It looked like they didn't even want to be out there or try. I really strongly considered putting the Steelers lower down here, but they have really had a lot of injuries as well. So, maybe when they get back a little bit healthier, maybe they'll, get back to competing. But for right now, they're not in a good spot. I feel like 21 is a pretty fair spot for them. Number 20, I have the Denver Broncos going up 4. The reason that this 3-0 team isn't super high up is because they have played the Giants, Jaguars, and Jets. They are literally my 3 lowest teams on my power rankings. I mentioned earlier that the teams you play, really make an impact on how much you go up or down on this list. That's why the Broncos are just kind of inching up there a little bit, 1 or 2 at a time each week. So going up 4 against the Jets, I feel like that's still fairly generous for the Broncos. Much like a team like the Carolina Panthers, I'd like to see them play tougher competition before, really anointing them as a top 10 team. But I do think the Panthers still played tougher teams, though. I think them dominating the Saints is the reason that the Panthers aren't this low. But yeah, for a 3-0 team, Broncos just haven't really played anyone. They're literally my 3 lowest power ranking teams. 19, I have the Indianapolis Colts going down 1. I considered, honestly, just keeping them at 18 because, it wasn't that they got absolutely shellacked against the Titans, but A.J. Brown went down early in that game, and they still allowed 25 points. And Carson Wentz, oh my gosh, Carson Wentz is not looking good. I'll say I wasn't a big believer in Carson Wentz returning to, star form or anything. But I didn't think he'd be this bad. He looks terrible out there. Their defense isn't looking great. Luckily for them, they have gotten most of their tougher games out of the way, so hopefully they can start winning a few games here on out. But yeah, they're in a tough spot right now. Number 18, I have the Minnesota Vikings going up 7 spots. They might be my biggest riser this week. Let me go ahead and scroll through these. Yeah, they're my biggest riser this week, going from 25 to 18. I really wanted to put them even higher, but they showed me exactly what I wanted them to show me on Sunday, and that was that they could defend against a high-powered offense. Seattle's offense, I think, is still one of the best in the league, and the Vikings held them to 17 points. That was absolute domination. Kirk Cousins is having another great performance. I still think he's one of, if not the most underrated quarterback in the league. Dalvin Cook is incredible. Yeah, if the Vikings keep playing like this, they're gonna keep rising up these power rankings. Good performance by them on Sunday. Now number 17, I have the New England, Patriots going down 2. They got dominated by the Saints. I don't feel like they're a bottom 10 team, so that's why I'm not dropping them too far. I'd be okay switching, the Vikings and the Patriots. I mean, maybe I think the Vikings right now may be the better team, but the Saints are an extremely tough team to play. But I will say Mac Jones did not look real good on Sunday. He threw 3 interceptions, one of which was actually a pick 6 by Malcolm Jenkins, I believe. So, just really rough performance by them. Saints looked dominant again this week. Which that actually brings me to number 16, New Orleans Saints. Going up 3. Now, if they can keep this up every week, they'll definitely shoot back up my board. They dropped a lot last week after getting dominated by the Panthers. I feel like we still just don't know what the Saints are. Are they this absolutely dominant team that can blow out about any team in the league? Or are they what they showed against the Panthers and really not that good, I feel like with this team, you never know which Jameis Winston you're going to get. I feel like there's also question marks in the secondary. I will give them this credit, though. Their rush defense is incredible. Top 3 in the league. I really like their rush defense. 15, I have Seattle dropping down by 7. Like I said, they got shellacked by the Vikings, losing by 13 points. Their offense just couldn't get it going. Their defense was also allowing first down after touchdown, Defense isn't looking great, and that was what I was worried about heading into the season. But the fact that their offense struggled that much as well this early on, that has me a little bit worried. I didn't think the Seahawks were going to start out 1-2. They usually start out the season actually really, really hot. So I will say I'm actually quite worried about the Seahawks. So we'll see what happens. 14, we have the Carolina Panthers. I'm dropping them down by 2 specifically because that Thursday night, yeah, they won, and they won mostly without McCaffrey, but it wasn't a pretty win by any means. And losing a guy like Chris McCaffrey, even if it is only for 2 or 3 weeks, is a huge loss. J.C. Horn is also going to be out until really late in the season. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't get back till week 16 or 17. So, really rough losses for the Panthers. They did trade for cornerback C.J. Henderson, which I think will really help that defense. But yeah, I wasn't pleased with their performance on Thursday night. I feel like they've got to take advantage of the long week before they take on Dallas. And there were also a few teams around them that I thought just played a lot better. So I feel like the Panthers should drop by 2 right here. 13, I have the Baltimore Ravens going down by 6. Okay, again, I know this is a team that won, but the Lions came inches away from beating them. At first glance, that game should have been a lock of the week. Ravens are going to blow them out. The Lions stayed extremely close, and if it weren't for Justin Tucker's 66-yard NFL record field goal, Ravens wouldn't have won that. They won that because of Justin Tucker. So, I'm not convinced with that win for the Ravens. I feel like the Lions should have won that. So I'm dropping the Ravens by 6. Then we have the Cardinals also going down by 6. This is another situation that, they won, and it was a little bit more dominant of a win, but they at one point really came close to letting the Jaguars win it. I will say I was impressed with their comeback. That's why I'm not dropping them, clear down to like 15 or 16. But I feel like they showed that their defense, can be exploited. I'm not saying they have a bad defense by any means. I think they still have a really good defense. But, judging from the first 2 weeks, they looked elite. This last week, they looked just a little bit above average, to be honest. So that's why I'm dropping them by 6, but I could very well see them crawl back up the power rankings soon. Number 11, I have the 49ers going down by 1. I didn't drop them by much because they did play the Packers. They came very close to winning. It's just hard to beat Aaron Rodgers in general. They gave him 37 seconds to score, and Rodgers got them in range for a 51-yard field goal. And Mason Crosby's basically a surefire kicker. He's accurate as hell. So, I feel like they should have drained a little bit more clock before scoring, but I did feel like the Niners played them tough, so I have them at 11. Number 10, the Raiders have officially made my top 10 list. Man, Raiders, like I've mentioned before, have been my biggest surprise this season. I've apologized to Raiders fans multiple times, and I'll do it again. I had you guys at 3-14 prior to this season, and you're already 3-0, playing out of your minds. Derek Carr looks great. The defense looks a lot better than expected. They're playing tough. They're playing very tough. And they've played good opponents too. Like, it's not like they, have been taking on, just terrible teams. Like, they've played the Ravens, the Steelers, and the Dolphins, who we previously thought had a really good defense. So, props to the Raiders here. Number 9, I have the Dallas Cowboys going up by 2. The game last night with the Eagles wasn't even close. Cowboys dominated on all levels. Their defense looks a lot better than last year. I feel like the additions of DeMonte KZ, Malik Hooker, and Keanu Neal, as well as Micah Parsons, honestly, I feel like it helped the team a lot, as well as the return of Dak Prescott. This team looks like it's firing on all cylinders, and they look primed to win that division. Number 8, I have the Green Bay Packers going up by 6. Aaron Rodgers is back. Okay, I said last week after the win against the Lions, he looked good, but it wasn't enough for me to say that Aaron Rodgers is, back after that Week 1 performance. But he played really well against the Packers, showed how good he really is. Packers are officially back to being a team we need to worry about. So, yeah, they looked really good. 7, I have the Tennessee Titans going up by 2. Derrick Henry still looking dominant as ever. Tannehill looks pretty solid. I will say, I'm worried about that A.J. Brown injury. They reported that he's week to week. So usually when they say that, he's probably not going to play, the first week after his injury, especially like a hamstring injury, because it's very easy to re-injure it. So, I would expect A.J. Brown to be out for, a week or two. So that's something to definitely watch out for here. But for now, the Titans are playing pretty well, and I could see them, maybe rise up again. Number 6, I have the Los Angeles Chargers going up by 5. They beat the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead. That's not an easy thing to do. I very strongly considered having the Chargers above the Chiefs here. I feel like I'm not quite ready to make that big of a change to the power rankings. I feel like the Chiefs are still a really good team, but the Chargers are proving exactly what I said before the season. It's going to be a damn good team. This defense is going to make strides. Justin Herbert's going to have another great season, and I had them at 11-6. That's looking pretty likely at this point. So, they're showing me exactly what I predicted. They're looking like a good team. Number 5, I have the Kansas City Chiefs dropping by 1. Like I said, I'm not quite ready to say the Chiefs are, not a top 5 team. I feel like they still are. But definitely a few teams to watch out for here are the Chargers, the Packers, the Cowboys, hell, even the Raiders. The Raiders could definitely make their way up here if they keep playing the way they are. So, number 4, I have the Bills going up by 1. They dominated the football team, and because of that, as well as the Chiefs' poor performance, I'm having the Bills go up by 1. Number 3, I'm having the Browns stay exactly where they're at. It was a really dominant win against the Bears, 9 sacks. That's why they're not dropping it all. But I'm not ready to say that they're better than my top 2 teams here. But they did play tough, so I'm still going to give them credit for that. Number 2, the king has been dethroned. I have the Bucks at number 2, dropping by 1. And I'm going to go ahead and just talk about these last 2 teams. I'm going to say Matt Stafford is my early vote for MVP. Matt Stafford has been playing out of his damn mind. That team is firing on all cylinders. That defense looks incredible. Stafford's connection to Cooper Kupp is insane. This team is terrifying right now. I previously had them as it was either 11-6 or 12-5. I want to say 12-5, and right now this is looking like a 15-2 or 16-1 team. Like, who in the NFL can beat them right now? Who? They dominated the Bucks. Like, it wasn't even like a close game either. They dominated them. I don't see any reason why the Rams shouldn't be number 1. They played out of their minds, and Matt Stafford is my early vote for MVP. But that is all I have for you guys today. Again, be sure to smash the like button if you haven't already. Be sure to subscribe, and I will see you next time. Later.